presentation. Film.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Chung. I'm a first year chemical engineering major and a current fusion intern. And today I'm running for secretary. So I've only been in fusion for like almost 2 months. And it's been a really great experience. Fusion has done a lot for me. I'm really shy, but through fusion I've met a lot of people at UCI. And so that's like one of the main reasons why I'm running today. So why you should vote for me? Well, in high school I was in ASB for 2 years. So being in a leadership position isn't new to me. I'm used to the responsibility and I know the commitment it takes. Also, being a fusion intern, I'm already actively involved. I've attended board meetings, helped fundraisers, plan general meetings, and the Fusion Friday, so I'm well versed and I kind of know the ins and outs of the clubs. And so as the glue of the club, secretary needs to be someone who is responsible, organized, and able to keep people on track with their tasks, which I think I am fully capable of doing. I have no problem telling you if you're not doing your job. I'll tell it to you straight out. Because I believe that you work hard to play hard, and there's a fine line between having fun and goofing off. I'm organized, and I take good notes. I mean, I get paid for it, so. Yeah, I really want to be a part of Fusion Board because I see all the work, hard work, and dedication that the current board does, and I see that the reward makes it worth it. Everyone puts in so much time and effort into the meetings and activities, and everyone really enjoys it, so I want to share that experience that I felt with others.
Part of the job is maintaining alumni relationships, and this year it's been a struggle to communicate with them. How would you go about improving alumni relationships?
Well, I think reaching out to them, I know you've done that, but I also think that, so to reach out and then to open up and maybe have like more get-togethers with them, which is really hard because they're all doing their own thing and some of them aren't even like nearby. So I think to improve it is to start within the club and to make new relationships. So the future like senior members here, they're going to be alumni too later on. So then I think if we start and make Fusion a really big part of them, that when they are alum, they'll want to come back and it'll be easier to keep in touch.
Any other questions?
One of the newer responsibilities of the secretary is being in charge of the yearbook, and this being a new program, and maybe you saw a hint of what it takes to do that. What do you have in mind for this program, and how do you plan to move forward with it?
The first thing I would want to do is definitely to find a program that's easy to use and that's like ready to go. So that's the first thing I would do, and I know that Secretary works with historian on this. So once historian is chosen, I would immediately collaborate. I would want to start on it like in summer to pick a program and then familiarize myself with it. So then when the year comes, I'm prepared and I'm not like trying to learn how to do it.
Any questions? Thank you, Elizabeth.
Can I ask another question?
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, Elizabeth again. Still being encouraged that board, we've discussed this many times before, but I still want to ask you personally, when things occur, and let's say the other members of the exec board aren't able to, how will you step up to when complications occur within board?
So like conflict?
Yeah. when conflicts happen, so how would you deal with it?
I like to deal with conflict head on. I don't like to beat around the bush because I feel like if you just avoid it, it's just going to get worse. So I would definitely talk to the person who's having the issue, and if it's them not doing their job, I feel like as secretary, it's like they're the glue, right? So they hold the pieces together. So if they need help, that's where I come in to help them. Or if it still doesn't work, I think I would talk to like the president, and then we would come up with a plan to improve their performance.
Thank you.
My name is Trang, and I'm running to be secretary for Fusion for the year 2016. I'm a general member of Fusion, but I've also been an active member since I first joined. I'm excited to be running as secretary because that means I can carry out my intended plans for the following year. The secretary's job is to be in charge of the email account, keep notes and documentations orderly and accessible, maintain alumni relationship, as well as assure that all meetings are planned for accordingly. I believe that I am fit for this position because I have a high aptitude in organization, communication, as well as taking matters and figuring out the matters and resolving them in an efficient way. As secretary, communication is very important, especially maintaining contact with alumni, board members, as well as the general members. I also believe that communication is key among board members because classically known as the glue of the club, it is the job of secretary to make sure that the rest of the board members are doing the jobs that they are fulfilling the jobs that they have accepted. I'm confident in my ability to maintain a positive and bright attitude when it comes to dealing with sticky situations that involve miscommunication. Although next year will be a busy and crucial year for me, I believe that I will be able to manage all the responsibilities in order to help reach the club, reach the epitome of greatness. In addition to responsibilities, I believe that secretary requires a great amount of patience, as I'll have to be dealing with a lot of people. Especially since most of my work will be done in the background. Although most of my work will be done in the background, or will go unnoticed, I'm convinced that it will not affect my performance to do well in this job. I'm here today because I want the projects that Fusion works on to be as successful as possible, and I want to be able to contribute greatly to the success. Being a secretary will not only be one of my jobs, but it will also be one of my highest priorities. With organization being my strongest asset, I believe that I have the skills necessary in order to be an effective secretary.
How do you feel you react to the disappointments when people cannot follow through with their responsibilities?
When they're disappointed.
When you're disappointed by it?
If people can't fulfill their duties. What's the question? Can you repeat it?
How would you respond to the disappointment you feel when other members are not able to fulfill their duties?
When other members aren't able to fulfill their duties, of course I would be disappointed because that is a job that they signed up for. And if they can't do what they need to do, then I will have to tell them that you need to step up your game because you signed up for that position and you shouldn't make any excuses in order to not do what you were supposed to do.
So what kind of leadership or anything that that's similar to the second edition, what kind of experience do you have?
In my past experience, I've had to I had to promote our club in order to attract our members to come out and to just attract our to promote our club more. And what I had to do was basically figure out what we were doing and then tell
interesting read. Okay. Next, my question is, when conflicts occur, how will you deal with it? Sorry, I keep repeating it, but it's an important thing. I want to know.
When conflicts occur, how I would deal with it, I would try to bring it up to make it aware to the entire board, make sure that there is an issue occurring on board and we all need to come together and resolve it together so that it's not just one-sided. Like, we all need to hear each other's stories to know how to resolve it in the best way.
Thank you. Alright, so we begin. Is there any questions from Sam?
Alright, so as you know, it's your responsibility to make sure everyone's doing their jobs. Say that certain responsibilities come before others and you yourself are not able to perform your jobs, how would you want your other members to treat you about it?
Okay. Well, if it's something that I feel like I could not do, I would still want the other board members to tell me straight up if they think it's still my responsibility and I should be able to pull out. Because if it's my job to tell people that they have to do theirs, then how can I expect myself not to do it? And if it's something school-related, I personally feel that I should have prepared for it more, and so I would put it behind my fusion duties. Because if I had known about it sooner, then I should have prepared better to allow myself time to finish it.
So, if I couldn't fulfill a duty, I would try to make it aware to board members that maybe this is the one time that I can't do this, or I can't put my best foot forward on doing this, and I would appreciate some help. So,
Sometimes problems occur in your own life, be it personal, academic, and it might get in the way of you doing your job, which is to be the glue of the club and to keep people on task doing what they're supposed to do. Let's say something happened where you weren't able to complete your job to the fullest extent, which led to another board member unable to do their own job, or because out of laziness or whatever reason, they didn't do their own job, and it kind of like spiraled into a bad situation for the club. How would you go about fixing that? Alright, so things might happen in your own life that prevent you from doing your job, which is to be the glue of the club and to keep every board member on task. What would you do to fix the issue that you weren't able to tell them to do their task and it caused a bad situation for the club?
Okay, since I pretty much accepted the position of secretary, it is pretty much going to be one of my priorities to do what I have to do. But if personal things get in the way, I try my best to do what I have to do, because I've also said that being in this position will be one of my priorities. So, personal issues, I would try to not let it get in the way of what I have to do.
For me, if there's something personal and I absolutely can't do my job, I think I would go to someone else on board and ask for help. So that if I can't do my job and I need to take like a leave of absence for a while, that there's still someone who can help me do my job. And then when I come back, I would continue.
What would you say is your biggest flaw or hindrance with the position of secretary, and how would you fix it, or how would you move on?
The biggest flaw. For me, I would do my shyness. I'm pretty shy. You probably all know. I don't really talk to a lot of people. So I think that's something I have to work on the most. And to fix that, it would just be to really push myself and to really come out of my shell.
One of my faults would be that I'm very hesitant, and that's one of the things that I'm working on to do what I need to do. Being hesitant, I don't want it to be an excuse to get in the way of my new job. So that is.
So how do you want to fix that?
How would I fix it? I just need to not be hesitant. I need to just go out there, just kind of put myself out there, because being secretary is being out there, not being hesitant.
So one thing that you guys both stated is when you feel like a board member is not doing their job, you have to, like, as the glue, you're supposed to confront them and, you know, try to, like, get them to basically do the job. When it comes to the point where the friction occurs and maybe you guys aren't seeing things eye to eye, how do you feel like you should approach the situation?
If we're not seeing eye to eye, I would try my best to get on their level, basically, to see where we see eye to eye and see where we can fix that issue so that it won't occur later.
For me, I think I would take a step back to look at it from a third perspective, and then I would talk to the person, and if we still couldn't come to a consensus, I think I would have to ask, like, one of the presidents to help mediate.
Alright, so for a club to be a club, it needs to have members. What can you do to attract members to join the club, and what can you do to retain them?
Okay, so to attract the club, I think it's mainly public, and basically telling people about the club. And then for retention, I would start with a smile. Everything starts with a smile. And if you're really welcoming, they'll want to come back. Even if maybe like the meeting was kind of like not up to what they liked or anything, but it's definitely about the people and the connections. So I think as long as you establish like the relationship with them, they'll want to come back.
So for the club, I would definitely try to hug and like, such as especially first year, since this year has a ton of first years, I would try to see if there's like an engineering hall, maybe we can talk to their RA and see if some people would be interested to come. And for retention, the reason why I stayed was because everyone was very welcoming to me, so I would try to make sure that everyone was welcoming to new members.
Following up from that, what would you do to retain alumni relationships?
To maintain alumni relationships, I was actually thinking about creating a Facebook page so that they would, just to encourage them to come out, to encourage their participation with the rest of the general members, because if I could describe the alumni relationship with the rest of Fusion, I would say that they're just acquaintances, because my relationship with the rest of the alumnus are not that great. Like, I know you guys as friends, I don't know you guys on a personal level. Okay.
So for me, it's already really hard to have a strong connection with the alumni we have now, because they're either too busy to hang out or they just don't find the time. So as I said in my speech, I think it's good to start new ones here. And so I think it's really important that when the seniors graduate, we still like keep up with them, like maybe have a hangout once in a while to like really keep the bond that Fusion has strong. And so hopefully it'll last like throughout.
Alright, so because of lack of duties on my part, the general meetings position is getting cut, and the secretary is now more in charge of general meetings. How would you say you should contribute?
Oh, okay. So if it's not my week to like actually host it and be an MC, then I feel like the job as secretary should be to routinely check out and make sure that the MCs for that week are doing their job and they're prepared, which I feel is been a little bit lacking this year. So I would just personally message them and check up on them and see where they're at, and then if they need help, then I'll definitely offer assistance.
For the meetings, since meetings coordinator is now the secretary, and although I wouldn't be, if I wasn't emceeing a meeting, I would say that the job of secretary is to ensure that all meetings run smoothly. So although it's not my meeting to MC, I still have to check up on the other MC